Anthony and Joe Russo. Good morning, guys. How are you, bud? I hate to be right off the bat. My producer should have told me who's who, but he didn't tell me who's Anthony and who's Joe.
Joe Anthony, and we don't care if you mix this up.
Good morning. You guys are from here.
We are.
Grew up here.
Yep, absolutely.
You've made a couple of movies now here. Did you have anything to do with Captain America being filmed in this city? Was that your guys, or did they decide that the studio?
We were pushing for it, certainly. I mean, it helps that there's a tax break here, because what happens when you go to make a film of this size, a company like Marvel looks at what cities have tax breaks, right? And Boston has one, Detroit has one, Philadelphia has one. So Cleveland was in competition with a lot of cities all over the country, Atlanta, New Orleans. And Cleveland won out, and a lot of it had to do with the fact that we were pushing to come here. We knew the city. It looks a lot like Washington, D.C., which it's doubling for in the movie. There's a lot of locations you can find that look like D.C.
What was the budget for this film?
If we say the budget for the film, somebody from Marvel will come out and shoot us. So yeah, we can't.
It would spontaneously combust. They implant the thing in our hearts.
When they talk about the budget of a film, does that include all of the marketing and all of the television commercials and everything? No, this is just the cost of making the actual film.
That's right. Exactly. Just getting it to the screen.
What takes up the most amount of that budget? Let's just say a big movie like this could have a $150 million budget or whatever.
Well, Scarlett Johansson.
No, what does take the most? Is it's special effects? Is it talent? I mean, what's the biggest?
Talent's a big number, but talent and special effects probably the two biggest numbers.
Yeah.
And when you direct a film like this, so much of it is special effects driven. And you guys are directors. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You don't have a lot of experience with the special effects, heavy special effects like this. So, what do you have to do to adjust what you guys do as directors in order to do a big movie like this?
I mean, mainly what it has to do with is preparation. In order to deal with special effects, whether you're talking about on-set special effects that you do practically or even visual effects that you create in post, you just have to pre-plan them enormously. You have to start figuring out how you're going to execute them months in advance. You start with drawings, then sometimes we go to like crude animation, then we start to rehearse and practice things. And we shoot those and we look at how they look. So there's a whole process that we go through before you even get to set.
There's a whole team of animators. I mean, there's probably 50 to 60 animators that work on the movie. So you do a rough animation of the film even before you shoot it.
Yeah.
So that allows you to get whatever camera angles you need. So going into this, we have to have it from exactly this angle because this is what the animators are going to want to do. Or can you change anything when you're actually on set doing the movie? Does anything change from what you have spent months and months planning?
But you have to prepare a lot. You'll see, like when you watch the movie and you sit through the credits at the end, the credits go on for 20 minutes. There's thousands of people who work on a film of this size. So in order for all those people to be on the same page, you have to have some document beyond the script, which shows them what you want to do, i.e. a storyboard or what we call these animatics, right? Or the pre-visualization is what they call it, which is this rough animation thing. But with a company like Marvel, because they're so good at special effects, you can be on set and say, like, we were shooting a shot, and I remember thinking, it'd be cool if we had these things called Quinjets, the Marvel's version of a jet. I was like, what if the camera tilted up and a Quinjet came around the corner? And so we brought the VFX supervisor over and we said, hey, can we add a jet here? And he goes, yeah, no problem. So there is room to move, but you do have to be pretty prepared, especially when you're blowing stuff up.
How did this comes out on Friday? Is that what day it's released?
Yeah. I think there's like 8 p.m. screenings on Thursday, midnight screenings, that kind of stuff.
How did you lobby to get this Captain America gig? Did they come to you? How did this come about?
We showed up on a list of theirs, like, without lobbying for it. They were fans of our work on Community and Arrested Development, and they had seen our first movie, Welcome to Collinwood.
Now, let me stop you there, because this sounds strange to me.
Yeah.
That here they are, they're making a huge budget action film. And they were fans of yours on Community, the television show, which seems to be the exact opposite. Why would they single you guys out on that show and say, hey, they do good work on this, maybe we could give them this huge action movie?
Well, Kevin Feige has said, he runs Marvel. He's sort of we call him an auteur producer behind the whole operation. He said before, look, he doesn't he just looks for people who have done something sort of interesting or what he termed exceptional in their careers. And it doesn't need to be within the genre. And if you look at the history of what Marvel's done, they like to choose directors outside the genre. They hired Jon Favreau to do the original Iron Man, or Kenneth Branagh. These are people that weren't known for this specific type of film. So I think they like pulling people from outside the genre because they know that they'll give the genre a little bit more of a twist than people who have worked in it for 20 years.
And Kevin is a big fan of Community. We saw these episodes. We did these paintball episodes, which are these action spoofs. And I remember when we sat down with him the first time, he said, "You guys should be directing action movies." We said, "Well, look, we love action films. We'd love to give it a shot."
And by the way, I mean, we've been intending for a long time to segue into action. It's been a passion of ours our whole career. When we set out, we never intended to be comedy directors. It just that's the road that opened up to us, and we had a great run in it. But this is something we've been planning for a long time.
So then someone from Marvel or whoever, they call you and say, "You're on our short list of people that we're considering."
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Right.
And then we went in, we started meeting with them. We read a draft of the script that they had at the time, which was already in great shape. And we basically began a 2.5-month-long audition process for the job.
With 9 other directors.
Yeah. We had 4 meetings over 2.5 months. Each meeting, we got more and more specific about what our vision for the film would be, how we'd execute it, what we wanted to do with the movie. We wrote new script pages. We did storyboards. We made a mock trailer that was composed of like clips from other movies that kind of gave an impression of what we wanted to do stylistically and tonally. It was a really involved process. But the great thing about it was by the time we got done with that process, we knew exactly what the movie was. You know,
when you get the script, when they go, "Hey, we're interested in you," you look at this script. Do you immediately go, "This is good," or do you say it needs some work?
We were very impressed with what they had done. It's done so far. I mean, at that point, they had already set it in the political thriller genre, which is a favorite genre of ours. So we were already very excited by that. But yeah, I mean, the great thing about Marvel is they want you to surprise them. They don't want you to come in and tell them, "Oh, we want to do what you guys are intending to do." They want you to throw crazy ideas at them, things they weren't thinking of, and that's what gets them most excited.
I grew up collecting comics. I was a big fan of Captain America, but I always imagined Steve McQueen in my head when I was a kid because I wanted to edge him up a little bit. I thought he was a little flat, little too, I don't know, Boy Scouty for me. And so it was a big pitch. We went in and said, "Listen, we got to edge this character up a bit. We want to edge up the fighting. We want him to fight better. We want him to fight cooler. We want like a little bit of a darker tone in the movie because the character can come across a little too superficial."
Anthony and Joe Russo are here, the directors of Captain America: The Winter Soldier. What did you guys learn from doing this big action movie that maybe you didn't expect going into it?
Oh, that's a great question, actually. Nobody's asked us that yet. It's look, what's weird about it is I think that it's very similar to the work that we've done up to this point. The only thing that changes is, you have to manage thousands of people. Like in television, look, you're working, you got to get a show on the air every week. There's no 8 months out of the year, you're killing yourself. You're up till 3 a.m. every day. You're sleeping 4 hours a night. There were nights where I would sleep in the trailer on set because I knew I had to be on set in 2 hours. The thing about this movie is all that work and training that we did, it translated. And to be honest, Marvel makes you get stuff done in 12 hours. We used to joke that it was country club hours compared to television. It was a lot easier to shoot than what we had done in TV.
Why do they make you get it done in 12 hours? Because there are union people involved? You go over budget, that kind of stuff?
There are safety issues. Like the thing about TV is you're under so much pressure. It's got to go on the air. If it's not ready, there's not. You can't get a grace period. It's got to be on Thursdays, like Community. It's got to be on Thursdays at 8. If it ain't done, you're in trouble.
Yeah, and then also, by the way, I mean, again, overtime drives up the cost. So for the people who are responsible for the money and the they want to plan it so you don't have to go into overtime because that's so. But like Joe's describing with television, the plans go out the window because of the deadlines.
How much pressure is there when it comes to the budget? That you guys have to do it in 12 hours. Those are your days. Things go over. These things add up. 100,000 here, 250,000 there. Is there someone who's just on your ass about going over budget all the time?
Yeah, there's a guy. I won't say his name, but his job is basically as soon as we start, getting a little deep in the day, he starts to pace around our monitors and look at his watch and wipe his brow and look very anguished and
start to ask us how much work we have left. But Look, it's interesting to seeing a lot of TV guys, right, doing well in features. You got Joss Whedon, you got Judd Apatow, you got J.J. Abrams, because TV is such a crazy training ground for it that when you get to movies, it's a lot easier, right? Because you're a machine in television. You know, we were working on 2 shows at once in TV. We were on the Paramount lot. We had 7 stages between Happy Endings and Community, and we're in a golf cart driving back and forth all day long like crazy people. So when you get to this, it slows down. It takes, it's a 2-year process. And so I think we felt like this was a lot easier,
Anthony and Joe Russo are here. Captain America, the Winter Soldier, opens in theaters nationwide on this Friday. 1-866-YO-ROVER. That's 1-866-967-6837. You guys are from here, grew up here, went to school here. How did the interest in filmmaking come about, and did you both share that same passion from very early on?
Yeah.
We started. We watched a lot of movies when we were kids. We weren't like Spielberg, where we picked up a camera and started shooting films when we were 8 years old. We watched movies. We loved movies, all kinds of movies. We loved the Bowery Boys. We loved Casablanca. We loved The Godfather. We used to watch The Godfather every Christmas instead of Christmas movies. There was a show here called Big Chuck and Little John that was on late at night where they would show genre films, or Superhost was this guy who was here. On Saturdays, he would do like a double feature of like Hammer films and Godzilla movies and monster movies. So we used to just soak up pop culture, and I think that's reflected in like Arrested Development and Community, these shows that are very pop culture intensive. At one point, I think in the 90s, Robert Rodriguez made a movie called El Mariachi. Mm-hmm. And he wrote a book about how he made that film for $7,000, and that started this fire all over the country where everybody was running out and getting credit cards and making movies, and we were 2 of the guys.
And you guys did that.
We did.
What was the first movie you did?
It was called Pieces. It was a small movie. It was basically our film school. We spent 3 years making it, trying to figure it out. It was we had a few people that worked with us on the movie, but we got to do everything. That was the great thing about making a movie with very little people involved, is you have to learn how to do every job. So it was a really awesome process for us. We got done shooting that movie, and we were out of money, and 2, we're like, okay, now what do you do with a movie? So we figured, you got to go to New York or LA and either get jobs in the business, and then we thought, well, what about film school? We can get student loans. We can help finish our movie. And keep moving forward. So I ended up going to New York, to Columbia for film school. Joe went to UCLA. And then after about a year and a half of film school, that movie started to make the festival circuit. And it went to the Slam Dance Film Festival, and Steven Soderbergh saw it at that festival and offered to produce a movie for us. So at that point, we basically dropped out of film school and started writing.
How much did that first film, what was the budget on that first film?
It took us about $35,000 to get it shot. And again, this is over. What happened was we kept running out of money. We'd go back to work, and it's sort of like cobble it together over time.
It took like 2 years to make the movie.
Yeah.
What did your parents think after you guys? So you make this for $35,000. Then you both enroll in film school. Steven Soderbergh comes and says, "We want to produce one of your movies." You guys go, "Film school, kiss my ass. We're out of here." What did your parents think?
They were proud. Look, our family has a big history in law and politics here in Cleveland, so. That was, we were sort of walking away from the family business, so to speak. And it was a big move for us. But at first they were nervous because, I think, our dad has said in the past, it's just like his big nightmare is that you go chase something like this for years and it never ends up getting you anywhere. And then you're sort of stuck. But once things started happening for us, and even before things started happening, they were very supportive.
They didn't say go back to school. You guys need to have something to fall back on.
No, they did say all those things.
They did, yeah. But I mean, look, Soderbergh was great validation, and I think 3 years after we met him, we got Collinwood made. It took a little while, but having him there was important.
Anthony and Joe Russo are here. They are co-directors. They both directed Captain America: The Winter Soldier. The next movie that you did was Welcome to Collinwood, right?
That's right.
That's the one that you were talking about. Soderbergh sees this $35,000 movie. Then you do this Welcome to Collinwood, which was filmed here. Now, when you go from making essentially a student film for $35,000 a year, all right, $35,000 budget, your first film, and now someone says, look, we're going to give you, Anthony, Joe, we're going to give you however much money this Welcome to Collinwood. What did that?
It was $8 million.
$8 million. We're going to give you $8 million.
Yeah.
Are you nervous about that? I mean, honestly, that's a lot of pressure.
I mean, look, we've always been so passionate about what we do that, like, I think that's always what carries our energy, is just our excitement for what we're doing, and kind of it helps us get through the idea of like pressure and I mean, look at that movie. We were working with actors like George Clooney and Sam Rockwell and William H. Macy, Patricia Clarkson, these phenomenal actors. But it was a great process. And here, I'll tell you the one funny story about what you're pointing out is, remember the first day of Welcome to Collinwood when Joe and I pulled up to the set? It was on the east side here around a bunch of warehouses. We pull up and there's all these semi trucks all over the place, and there's cop cars, and we start to panic. We're like, what the heck is going on here? We have to shoot here. All this stuff is good. Like, we didn't realize that those were all our people. That was our crew. I mean, we had no idea.
I mean, there's like 5 of us that made that first movie together so we've never seen it.
Is it tough then when you have George Clooney or whoever? You guys are unknown guys. Is it tough to direct someone like that who's been in a bunch of different movies? William H. Macy. I mean, they could say, hey, you guys don't know what the hell you're talking about.
All those guys made it really easy for us. I'd say Clooney's like one of the nicest guys in the world.
He seems that way in all these interviews, and I go, this guy is either a tremendous actor 24/7, or he is actually kind of a cool guy.
No, he's one of the coolest guys you'll meet in the business. Great guy to go out and drink with, hang out with. He's a lot of fun to talk to. Super easygoing guy. He made it very easy for us. Macy, fantastic. Sam Rockwell, all these guys were very easy to work with. I think they loved the script and they respected the material. They liked the jokes in it, and so they, if you sign on because you like the script, that usually means you're going to play ball with the director.
When you guys sign on to do this Captain America, a lot of people criticized it. They go, guys who do Community, a television show, and Arrested Development, they suck, right? I mean. Yeah. Do you guys pay attention to any of that criticism, or does it just roll right off your back?
We've learned over the years you can't pay attention to that stuff. I mean, if you start trying to make things because of what you think people want, you're going to make crap. If you make it based on what you want to do or what you think, that's usually when you make your best stuff, and then you hope people like it. And that's what we did on this film. We just made it based on we love comic books. We love comic book movies. We try to put everything that we love about comic book movies in this. We wanted cool fighting in it. There's great fighting in the movie. We love big action. There's big action in the movie. We love character work. So it's really, it's really nice character work for him in the film. So we've learned you got to just shut that stuff out. The more you pay attention to it, the worse off you are.
I mean, the truth is this movie was such in our sweet spot between the comic book aspect of it and also the political thriller aspect. And even though it hasn't showed up in our work to this point, it was such in our creative sweet spot. We knew we were going to crush this movie. So actually, when we saw the doubters early on, it was almost entertaining to us in a way, because it was like, well, wait till they see this movie. We knew it was coming.
When this movie comes out on Friday, Captain America, the Winter Soldier, it opens nationwide, excuse me, this Friday. How much pressure is on you guys? This is your first huge, big, super budget movie that you guys have done. Is there a lot of pressure on you guys personally for this thing to be a success, do you think, in your mind at least?
Yeah, I mean, the good news is it's getting great reviews, right? So our job is to make as best a movie as we can, and then it's Disney's job to promote the movie and release the movie. So wherever the movie ends up making box office wise, that's on them. What was on us is how good is the movie. And so far it's been really, really well received by the fans and by the critics, which is very helpful for the film. So the pressure, our pressure's up. Like, our pressure was on for 2 years. Now the pressure's on Disney.
Like the first movie you guys did, this Welcome to Collinwood, which you said had an $8 million budget, that didn't do very well at the box office.
Not at all.
Did you feel at that point, oh my God, our career, here we get this big break, we're screwed? What happened at that point when it's not a box office success and that's your first real movie?
Well, again, luckily with that movie, even though it didn't perform well, there were some big fans of the film, and we got to show the movie in the edit room to Kevin Riley, who was heading FX at that time, and he was making a show called Lucky, which is about John Corbett played like a degenerate gambler in it. And so we got hired for our next gig before that movie ever came out. So we shot this pilot called Lucky for FX. And while that show didn't work on FX, that pilot was very well known within the business. It was a sort of an industry favorite. And that's how we got the Arrested Development job. So we got hired to shoot the pilot for Arrested Development, which we ended up winning an Emmy for. So we were sort of protected by from what you're talking about, by the fact that we were sort of always getting our next job before the current one failed.
How much is things like Netflix, Amazon as a streaming service, and it looks like they're going to release a set-top box coming out here, but at least that's a rumor, very soon. Apple TV, these sorts of things. How much is that changing? You guys have worked on television for a long time.
Yeah.
How much is that changing the industry, or how much potential does it have to change the industry? Because these guys are now going out. They're not just streaming other people's content. They're creating content now.
It's massive potential to change the industry for the better. It's great. I mean, I love the Netflix shows. House of Cards is awesome. And I think what's great about it is people are learning to watch TV differently. They're almost like extended movies now, right? When you get all of a season of House of Cards, that's basically a 10-hour film that you choose to watch at your leisure. So when, if I want to watch 4 episodes tonight, I watch 4 hours of this 10-hour movie. And then on Saturday, I watch another 3 episodes. So it's, but also the content is becoming more radical. We say that all the cool 90s independent movies that were happening, where did they all go in the 2000s? Well, that's television. Television turned into the independent film business. It's richer characters. It's more interesting concepts. You could never make Breaking Bad into a movie, but you could make it into an awesome television show, and people will go crazy for it.
Are you able to just watch TV and movies and soak them in as entertainment, or do you critique every little thing in them?
I think, no, we could still watch as entertainment. I mean, we're still fans. That's the thing. You still get excited by things when you see something new and fresh or something surprising. Yeah, it's the most incredible feeling. But I think then our brains do flip right at like a second later, bam, our brains flip into critique mode. Yeah.
This movie, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, opens in theaters nationwide this Friday. And what are you guys doing? My producer said that you guys have something where you can win tickets to a cast and crew screening.
That's right. There's a screening tomorrow night here in town. That's why we're here in town. I'm going to read this so I don't forget it. But all Captain America fans are invited tonight to Market Garden Brewery, which is on 25th Street. You got to enter through the beer garden entrance for a chance to win tickets to the screening tomorrow night. We're going to draw 75 winners from a free raffle. Each winner receives an admit-to ticket. So if you come on down, the line begins to form at 6 p.m. Raffle tickets are given out at 7 p.m. and we're going to have the drawing at 8 p.m. And you got to be present to win. Anthony and I will be there hanging out with everybody. But it's a way to give back to the city. We want to make sure that some local residents get into the movie tomorrow.
Yeah, and we'll be at the screening tomorrow night, too, that this is for.
See, you guys, they did what I want to when I get out of radio, which maybe never at this rate. Documentary films is what I want to do, and I've had people, I've talked about this on the air. They go, "You can't do that. You didn't do this. You didn't do that. You didn't go to film." I didn't go to school to be in broadcasting either, and I really believe that kind of what you guys did. You go out, you make a movie for $35,000. You learn so much. You learn probably more in doing that than you do going to film school. I mean, sure, you're going to learn some technical stuff in film school and whatnot, but I'm a big believer in learning literally every aspect of something that you do from the ground up. And when you make a film for $35,000 like you guys did, you have to learn how to edit, you have to learn how to shoot, you have to learn how to do everything basically from the ground up. So I think that's the best way to do it. Would you agree with me to just jump in and go for it, as opposed to what many people would say is the traditional route of you have to go to school, go to school, go to school?
No way, 100%. I mean, that's the only way to do it. What you're
Take
talking
the money
about.
you're going to spend on film school and spend it on making a movie, because you're going to learn a lot more, and then you have something to show people.
That's the one thing I've always loved about the business, is that it's like a cowboy business. There's no set background, there's no set road. It's like you look at everyone's finds a different way in. You just look at what opportunities you have to create work and to get people to see the work, and then to create more work. That's all it is. And the good news is, from when we came into the business, we were still had to shoot on film at that time. Now, you can shoot stuff on your iPhone and edit it on your computer. I mean, it's like
put it on YouTube.
It's amazing, isn't it?
We discovered Donald Glover from Community on YouTube. He was just doing comedy skits with some buddies of his from NYU, and somebody showed him to us, and a year later we cast him on a television show. I mean, so the access now is so different from when we were growing up.
A lot of people have sent me tweets, text messages, all sorts of stuff here. They say that you mentioned your family comes from politics, and they want to know if you are related to Frank Russo, who I think is in jail. Didn't he get thrown in jail or something? Are you guys related to him?
He's our uncle.
Yeah.
He's your uncle. All right. Well, so that answers that question. There you go. Your style of directing, it's always the two of you. Have you guys ever done stuff without the other?
Just when we do television, we direct separately only because once we've done the pilot, we already know what the show is, and now it's just about you're babysitting the show, really, when we're executive producing and directing a show like Community. And so you want to get one of us on as many shows as possible just because we understand the tone and we're very close with the actors. It makes things move faster. It's easier.
But even though in that situation, one of us is directing, the other one's still there producing. So we're kind of, we're still able to collaborate.
Do you ever, I'm sure you're asked this a lot, but do you ever have a difference of opinion on the way that something should be done?
Yeah, I mean, look, we have a process. We basically have like a nonstop dialogue that runs between us about everything we do. And we just kind of crunch through everything. And yeah, I mean, we often disagree. But
biggest argument was over what?
Oh man, I don't even know. I
don't know. We stopped arguing years ago because we're too old now. We get too tired. We just don't care.
When was the last time you two were in a fist fight with each other?
That was like
you have to go
30 years ago. Yeah.
Who would win?
He was always bigger than me. Yeah. He was twice my size growing up, but I was faster.
But anything can happen now because the change in physical.
When you guys do a movie like Captain America, do you when they do the contract with you, do you guys go, we split everything 50-50? Do you do that on TV shows, or is there a difference in what you guys get paid on these
Unfortunately, in the business, you got to split everything as a team. They don't pay you double.
Well, that was interesting. That's actually how we started directing individually on TV episodes, because on TV episodes they'll only pay you what's called Directors Guild minimum, unless the show's a huge hit. So, and the Directors Guild won't let you split Directors Guild minimum because that's the minimum. So we got into this weird situation where they wouldn't pay us double for the episode. They would only pay us the minimum, but we weren't allowed to split the minimum. So that's how we fell into like individual rotation. But yeah, we do split everything. Yeah.
All right, I'll let you guys go because I know you're busy. Anthony and Joe Russo are here. They directed Captain America, The Winter Soldier, which comes out on Friday. Is there anything, and you could be honest, is there anything with this film that you wish was different?
It's great. That's another great question. I'll tell you though, no, because we couldn't be happier. We've said it's the best job we've ever had. We had a great experience with Marvel. They are so supportive of directors. It's ridiculous. They let us do anything we could imagine is in the movie, and no, we're very, very happy with the film.
Is it dumb? My phone screener has a question for you. Yes, go ahead.
I'm a comic book kind of dude. I love comic book movies. Do you ever see moving into a direction where we might see an R-rated one?
Well, I'll tell you, this one's pretty close. And I just was reading in one country, we actually did get an R rating.
Nice.
And I think it's fair to probably warn parents that this movie's pretty violent. And that's just what our tastes are for comics. I grew up when Frank Miller wrote The Dark Knight in the 80s.
Nice.
I like darker comics. I like darker material. This movie, I don't know if you guys saw The Raid. Did you see that movie, The Raid?
No, I did not.
Great action film.
Yeah. I did see that.
That we love that movie. So there's a certain intensity. Heat by Michael Mann was a big influence on us. So this movie's got a real intensity to it.
Good stuff.
All right. Well, good luck with the film. I hope it makes $1 gazillion. Someone told me the budget is $170 million. In the neighborhood?
Let's say in the neighborhood.
Plausible.
Wow.
Yes.
That's incredible. That's just, how many people work on this? Like when you are shooting it, how many people are actually here in town, or where? I mean, how many people are there working?
I mean, we had days where we were on the shore where we were running 2 units where our caterer at lunch was feeding over 1,000 people.
Wow.
Easily. And sometimes 2,000 to 3,000. It depends how many extras you have. In town working at any given moment, there's thousands of people working on the movie. It's a massive. When you see the film, you sit through the credits because there's an end scene after the credits.
Right.
There's like the main credits, and then there's the long that goes on for like 20 minutes. I can't believe how long the credits are.
Hey,
you guys going to do a Hulk movie? pushing to do the Hulk.
You know, we love the Hulk. It's interesting. The
there have been so many bad Hulk
We need
movies.
a good one, though.
They
That's
could
my
have me
point.
directed. It would be better than some of the crap they've put out in the past. My Lord.
Ruffalo's great at the Hulk, too. Isn't he awesome?
He's awesome. That's why he would be. This is the guy to do it, man. They should do it.
Well, hey, listen, good luck with the movie, you guys. Thanks for bringing stuff back here, shooting it here. I think that's great. I think it's fantastic. We did nothing but complain when you shut down the shortwave.
Do you guys feel bad at all for that? Like when you're in town trying to make a movie and trying to do something really cool
God,
for
no,
the city,
they don't care. No,
and you hear
screw
all these
you,
people,
Charlie. You're just some dumb radio guy. They don't care about you at all.
Look, just Captain America, just this movie brought $80 million into the local economy. So look,
in like
there's
3 months.
Yeah, there's a trade-off. I mean, look, Cleveland's worked itself into a really unique position of being very film friendly right now. The film commission is fantastic, headed by Ivan Schwartz. The city's very user friendly. Ohio has a top tier tax rebate right now, competitive with any other state in the country. So it's just and it's in a great place for filmmaking.
And our cast and crew love this town. They love it. I'll tell you, Chris Evans, we were talking to him. We're going to do Captain America 3 with him. And the first thing he asked was, are we going back to Cleveland? I loved Cleveland.
Well, you can go tonight, 6 p.m., Market Garden Brewery. And if you're a fan of Captain America, you'll have a chance to win tickets to the local cast and crew screening, which is tomorrow night. Be there at 6 p.m. Everyone in line will be given a raffle ticket starting at 7. And then the drawing begins at 8 o'clock, and 75 winners are going to win a pair of tickets to the screening. Anthony and Joe Russo, thank you guys for coming in. Good luck with the film, which opens up on Friday, Captain America, the Winter Soldier. I have to take a quick break. We'll be right back on Rover's Morning Glory. Hang on.
Rover's Morning Glory.